Welcome back to Jack Builds It, and welcome back to the Noble M400 build. We have done so much work to this car. We welded a front end on this car from another car. We have gusseted it to strengthen it up. We've added air jacks. We've added GTR door handles. We've put a whole new front and rear clamshell set getting built in the UK on this car. We also have a ton of other things that are amazing on this car. And what would that be without making sure the center section is as beautiful as it can be? So in this episode, we are going to do a ton of body work, some custom body work, and we're going to get it all done in the next 2 days. That's right, we're gonna do a ton of body work in 2 days. Like I always say, that's enough talking, let's get started. With a lofty goal of finishing this car's bodywork in 2 days, I started to take this mirror off, and of course, it wouldn't be the Noble without giving me some trouble. The window track was stuck in there, and what I mean by stuck in there is the bolt was rusted completely, and it was an Allen head, which proceeded to strip when I tried to take it out. With the first layer of filler work done to the handle, I could see that the lines weren't exactly as tight as I wanted them to be. So what I did was I wrapped the handle with some tape, and I take a razor blade and I cut along the edge of the handle, able to keep as much filler in there as possible and work it down so that I can get a laser straight gap. I'm always at the shop working on my projects or working on Freddie's projects, and this leaves me with zero time for myself to get to the grocery store. But thanks to today's sponsor, HelloFresh, we get fresh meals that are healthy sent straight to our door. They say breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and HelloFresh agrees. In fact, they are giving all subscribers free breakfast for life. That means you'll enjoy a totally free breakfast item with every single HelloFresh delivery. Plans change and life gets busy. That's why HelloFresh lets you easily customize your delivery from week to week. Mix and match lifestyle options to suit your needs like fit and wholesome, family friendly, quick and easy, and vegetarian, and many more. Dig into HelloFresh's biggest menu yet with 50 plus dinner menu options. Click the link in the description and use my code JBIKEF and get 10 free meals plus breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while the subscription is active in the US. Outside of the US, local discounts will apply. That's pretty good. Really happy with the way this came out. Take a look at how nice and tight the gap is around this handle. That will look really good sitting nice and flush in there. Also, minimal wind noise or anything like that that could come from here. And also, I will have a seal that goes around the inside area. But take a look, it still functions extremely well. The door handle is done. Now I am going to fix all of the damage that is on the center section here. I'm gonna do that door a little bit later. Not worried about that, but take a look at what happened during the accident. You can see here all of these cracks. These go up into the roof right here. What I believe that is the gel coat. I believe the gel coat flexed and cracked. I don't think it's into the fiberglass. I'm still gonna grind it all down pretty far, and then I'm gonna do some filler repair, and then we can prime all that. And that's still quite a bit to do, so let's keep going. Now I start with the exact same process of knocking down the body filler, and once the body filler is knocked down, I use Duraglass again to reinforce these areas. It is a really crucial step when doing any kind of fiberglass work where there has been cracking to grind out all of the cracks and then use a fiberglass reinforced filler or just use fiberglass to repair this again. On the Noble M12, this piece here is actually cut out, and I feel like it's kind of like an afterthought the way it's dealt with. These here are basically bolt-on, and by bolt-on I mean screws run through the backside. So what I'm gonna do to create a seamless look on this car is mold this into it so that it's on the floor. One more time, here we go. And stay. There we go. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to mold this into the car so there is no seam here. It's gonna look perfect. And by the way, if you can see here, that's the bracket for the air jack, and there's still plenty of room for air to flow into the cabin. So this is still 100% functional. Let's make it look cool now. When bonding fiberglass panels to each other, you want to make sure that you grind really deep into the fiberglass. You don't want to have just a surface level bond. You want this to bite in as best as possible. This is why a lot of body kits and other parts that are molded onto cars end up cracking. So here I grind this very good so that it'll stick and adhere just like it's one piece made from the factory. Another thing that I do here is I separate the fiberglass hair so that it is open and easily manipulated. That way I can jam it down into these cracks here along with the resin so I get a good bond. So as you can see, I got this thing bonded and it is nice and secure. The next step is cutting the edge off of the back and bonding it to seal it completely. Then I can start my body work, making this look flush. I'm definitely gonna make a nice solid line around here. Let's keep going because I still have a lot to go. With the pieces properly secured and bonded into place, I remove the screws and I cut off the excess edge on the backside so that I'm able to have a smooth transition when I bond on the backside, as well as start working on the edges of our fiberglass fender here. This fender was a complete remake of the outside of the fender because of how fire damaged it was. So now I am breaking that down nice and even. You guys have seen me do this process about 1,000,000 times already on this car, and now I'm using aluminum tape to be able to make a drip molding on this car. This door was from a race car again, and it did not have that drip molding, so I used the aluminum tape as a backing plate, then I apply thin strips of fiberglass along with resin so that I'm able to achieve the exact same thing on the other door with a slight lip for the drip molding. While I was waiting for the drip molding to dry, I started to repair the fiberglass where the door actually came into contact with the vent. Day 2. Now we are moving on to fitting some cool parts to the car. We've already done a bunch of body work. Now it's time to smooth all that out and make it look good. But before we do that, we need to get rid of these big Dumbo ears. Look at these things. They're gigantic. These mirrors are useful and functional, but they don't look cool. And if you know anything about me, I'm all about the cool factor. I want this thing to look cool and be functional. So we picked up a set of APR Performance Formula GT3 carbon fiber mirrors. Take a look at how good these look. Now that is going to be a huge difference compared to these old ones, and I'm going to show you exactly how I plan to mount these up. So first, grab the mirror that goes on the right side. Take a look at this right about here. I've already kind of test fit it to see what it looks like, and yeah, that looks way better. So let's get these mounted up because there's still a ton of body work to do on this car. Just a quick example of some of the things that I'm dealing with here on this car and why this car is taking so long to build. As you can see here, we have the belt molding that was on the passenger side door installed and in place. If I take this off, it should match up with the other side, but take a look at what I just saw here. So we've made the lower section as you saw earlier. Let's get this guy set in place. And yeah, that's not going on. Let's see. Yeah, look at this here. Take a look at that. That is way off, way off. That thing is over a half an inch, probably maybe a little less. It's butted up against there and it won't go down. These are the kinds of things I'm dealing with, but these are the kinds of things we're fixing. And that's why this car is going to be next level when it's finished. Or at least I believe so in my head. With our new mirrors in place, there was no need for these little ledges that they had on this little side piece here. As I looked at it more and more, I thought to myself, with keeping this piece, it would just look out of place. So I smoothed them out and made them look nice and flush to the pillar. Something you're gonna see in a later video, I had Eric stop by and he is setting up a wiring harness to run this engine. We are going to attempt to start this engine very soon. And here he is testing out the coils, making sure we are getting spark. This was the last time that I was going to be removing these doors and get this body ready for paint, as well as get the frame over to the powder coaters. This is a crucial step and I am really excited because this feels like it has been forever before we have gotten to this point. Well, unfortunately, I did not get as much as I wanted to get done this week, but we met some really cool people on Saturday at Cars and Coffee with the Evo. That was really fun. I thank you guys so much for coming out. Everyone who said hi, everyone who just stopped by to check out the car. It's really fun for me to see you guys enjoying that car and enjoying it as much as I enjoy it because I love driving that car, as you can see. But we got a ton of work done this week. Even though it doesn't look like there was a lot of work done, there was major transformations and things that needed to be done on this car, and there's still a ton more to do. That's what these kind of projects bring. They bring on a ton of things that you're never gonna expect. Very ambitious, very lofty goals, but we accomplished quite a bit. We got the roof fixed, we got the pillar finished, we got the side vents molded into place, we got the GTR door handle taken care of. We've mounted our mirrors on both doors. We smoothed out the old area where the mirror sat, so now it looks nice and flush and fits to the body. But unfortunately, that was what we got done this week. We weren't able to get this car in primer, and that was my goal, is to have this center section done. I'll probably get that done next week, but along with that, I'm gonna be getting the frame ready for powder coat. So that means I need to take off all of the extra stuff that's still on there. I need to double check the fitment on certain things, and then this thing can go to powder coat and we can start fully assembling this car. We also have to make a custom exhaust. And like I showed you earlier, we now have to buy injectors for the engine. We still don't know if this engine is going to run. The injectors were locked up. I'm pretty sure that's because E85 must have been ran through this engine. meaning that there's a lot of things that got to be checked, a lot of things that got to go through. But unfortunately, guys, that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this kind of content, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.